Welcome back to my channel. This is Christina with Medieval Romance, and today I have the bead tutorial for y'all of my Cathedral Windows bracelet. And if you watch the Cathedral Windows earrings, it's very similar. The biggest thing is that I kept the beads uniform. So in the earrings, I use different size beads throughout the piece, whereas this I have all 4mm bicones. I'm going to be using a different color palette today, which is kind of like purpley, silver. I've got this crystal AB here. I wanted it to kind of resemble like fantasy unicorn theme because I'm going to make a little bracelet for my daughter. I've already made up one little component here. And this one has 3 rows. The next one I'm going to do 4 rows. I think I'm going to do 2 with 4 rows and 2 with 3 rows. So you will need some sort of clasp. I really want to use this clasp here, but I don't think that my daughter's going to be able to open it. It seems a little bit difficult, and I tried the other day. Once you get the little O-ring on here, you don't have enough room to squish it down and open it, which is really disappointing because this is too cute with this. But this one's also silver with rhinestones, and it's magnetic. Oh, can't hold on to it. But I think she'll be able to get this on and off easier. So this one I'm probably going to use. You will need your 12 beading needle, 13 will work, some 2-inch eye pins. You can probably use shorter. I have 11.0 Miyuki galvanized silver delicas. And then for my center bead, when I'm doing my netting here, I am using a 2.5mm crystal AB bicone. These came off of the Fire Mountain Gems website. I'm sure you can find them other places, but that's where I purchased those. And then all 3 of these fire polish beads. Now remember, I used bicones in this. So you make it yours. Use whichever piece or whichever kind of bead you want and just fit your seed beads around it. But for this, I'm going to use fire polish. So a little bit different shape, but it'll be fine. These all came from Dollar Bead box on their website. So if you are a member or you subscribe to their box, which would make you a member then, I just paid an annual membership and then I'm good for a year. But, and I can get on there and purchase whatever I want. So this one, I cannot remember the names of all of them. I will get better at this so that I'll be able to tell y'all exactly what I've got. I know this one's like a matte lilac with an AB finish on it. Not sure on this. It's kind of almost a Montana blue, blue purple with the vitriol, half vitriol. And then this is like a metallic dark lilac. So but I know those are for sure not the exact names, but I'm pretty sure they were still all on the website. I ordered some. I have a package coming in the next couple days. I ordered some rondelles, and I'm pretty sure that these were still on the website. So anyway, let's get started. I'm using white wildfire, and it's because I'm using all of these crystal colors here. Get my needle thread in through here. If y'all followed my earring tutorial, this will be a breeze, or if you know how to do filled tubular netting, because that is basically all that we are doing here is filled tubular netting. Okay, so I'm gonna bicone, check fire polish, bicone, fire polish, bicone, fire polish, and I'm going to do this until I have a total of 4 bicones, or if you're using seed beads, a seed bead in between, but 4 bicones and 4 fire polish. So I'm going to do a frosted one there. Okay, and once you've got your 4 bicones on there, your 4 fire polish, you're going to pull it down, leave you a little bit of a tail here, and you're going to go back up through your beads, just like that, and pull your thread through, leave you a little bit of a tail that you'll be able to work back into the piece just a little bit. You don't need it real long, just enough to work back in there. I'm not going to cut my tail off. I'm going to go ahead and work it back in. And that is because the holes on the bicones are a little bit larger than seed beads. And I just feel more confident having it in there. So I've tied them together, left my tail. Now I'm going to go through this. Well, here, let me see. This is what you should have. Okay, so you are going to go through your fire polish and out through that next bicone. So you want to be coming out of bicone or CB, whatever you're using. So in this video, we're using a bicone. So you're going to be coming out the bicone that's in between your check fire polish. And now I'm going to, you want an odd number of beads. And I am doing 5 beads. I'm doing 2 delicate, a bicone, and 2 delicate. You're going to hop over to this next bicone in between the fire polish and go through just the bicone. Okay. Again, 2 delicates, a bicone, 2 delicates, and you're going to hop over and go through that bicone there. Just the bicone. Like I said, if you're familiar with filled tubular netting, that's all we are doing here. Hopping over to the next one. We've got one more set to do after this before we can step up and add on our next row of check fire polish. I did get a webcam. Unfortunately, it does not zoom in or focus. It does not focus at all, like down my beads, so everything's blurry, and I'm going to have to purchase another one. Alright, so this is what you should have now. Something that looks like this, depending on what kind of bead you're using, but it should be similar. Okay. Now when I went through this bicone, I ran it up through those next 2 delicates and out the top, the tip of this bicone here. And that stepped me up to the next level. So you can kind of fold all your little things in here and it looks like a little flower. And now we're going to add on our row of bicones. Or not bicones, I'm sorry. We're going to add on our row of fire polish. So I'm coming out this bicone. I'm going to jump over here to this next bicone and just go through the bicone. I'm going to do that all the way around as I add on my fire polish beads. My tail's sticking straight up there. Okay, I'm going to go through that last bicone there, and I'm going to go ahead and cross through the check fire polish and that next bicone on the other side of it. And just to give it a little bit more stability. And tighten it up. And now we're ready for our next row of netting. I'm going to do 2 delicates, a bicone, and 2 delicates. Since we're keeping the same size beads throughout the piece, I don't have to change the amount of beads that are being put on to form my netting like I did in the earrings. So 2 delicates, a bicone, 2 delicates. You are welcome to change sizes of beads and make it your own, however you want, your own style. I decided to keep it uniform because I find that it lays on the wrist nicer if they're all a uniform size, whereas opposed to having, like, I had the larger beads in the center of the earrings, they wouldn't have laid nice and flat on the wrist. So that was my reasoning for doing that. But like I said, this is your piece, so you do it however you want to. So on my last little piece of netting, I'm doing 2 delicates, a bicone, 2 delicates, I'll hop over here to go through that last the last bicone, and I'm going to go up through those next two delicas and out the top of that next bicone. So right there, like that. Okay. Now once we've done that, we're going to add on another row of fire polish beads. I'm going to do this frosted. I'm going to hop over, go through this bicone over here. All the way around until I've got my 4 fire polish. And I'm just doing these in kind of a little bit random pattern. Because I'm not doing anything specific. I just want to utilize all these colors in my piece. Okay, so, oops. Okay, so I've passed through that next fire polish. I'm going to go out through that bicone in between those. And I'm going to add one more row here because I wanted to do one that was 4 rows. That one was 3. Okay, so we're going to do 2 delicas, a bicone, 2 delicas. That was the other thing I was going to tell y'all. You can do them all the same length components. Okay, so here, this is 4 rows. This one is 3. This one is 5. And I did that. That's how I wanted to do this bracelet. On this one, my daughter's wrist is really tiny, so I'm going to do 2 that have 3 rows and 2 that have 4 rows, and I'm going to put the longer ones in the center. But you can do it however you want to. You can do all of these smaller ones, you can do all of the longer ones, or you can do all different sizes how I have done. Okay, so I'm doing 2 delicas, a bicone, 2 delicas, there are so many things that you can do with these little bead components. After we get done making our bracelet, I will show y'all a couple of the things that I've done, and there's something else that I'm working on that I will have done for y'all in Sunday's video to be able to show y'all. So I don't want to spoil it. But it's really good, and I think it's going to turn out really cute, but it's utilizing another one of these bead components. I just love these. I'm fascinated with them. I just have found them to be so versatile, and yeah, so I'll show you something else that I've done with it. I won't show you the entire necklace because I don't want to ruin it, but I'll show you something else I've used them for. Okay, so we're on our last row of fire polish. I'm going to hop in through those bicones. Like I said, I'm not doing this in any specific order. I'm just using up these fire polish beads in these colors. Okay, so I'm going to go through this bicone. I'm going to cross through the next fire polish and out through that next bicone. Just like that. Okay. And now my bead component is made, but because the hole is so big on this, because of the way the fire polish are shaped, when I go to put this on here, since I'm going to use fire polish and not like a fat rondelle or something or a pearl, it's going to pass right through there. And I don't want that. So what I'm going to do, now let me tell you, on this bracelet, I did not have to do this. So there's no netting around I hope y'all can see that. I'm sorry, it was probably out of frame. There's no netting around the bottom of these pieces. And I left it just like this, but it's because these are bicones and they are shaped differently. Even though they're 4mm, as are these, they're shaped differently. So they did not leave this big gaping hole here. And when I threaded through the eye pin with a bicone, it sat right on top and it was able to just cover up that hole and not slide through it. So what I'm going to do with these, and what I've done with that one over there, I'm going to add on another row of my netting. So I'm doing 2 delicas, a bicone, 2 delicas, and I'm hopping over. I'm going to do this all the way around, and then I'll show you what I did to remedy the situation. Now you could probably, if you wanted to use a larger size pearl or a larger size, any larger size bead on the end of your bead component that we've made, that would work and you wouldn't have to do this last step. But like I said, this is yours, so it's going to be your decision and your own personal design taste. And yeah, so any of that will work. Just throwing ideas out there. Any of that will work. And pearls actually probably would have looked really pretty with this, but I didn't think about it until just now when I was telling y'all. So this is what I've done. Okay, so I got my next row of netting on, and I'm coming out through the top of this next bicone here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add on a delica, and I'm going to hop over to the next bicone. And I'm going to do that all the way around. So instead of putting the fire polish beads in the middle, I'm adding on a delica and passing through all of those bicones until I get all the way back around. And then after I've connected them all, I'm going to tighten them up real nice and snug. I'm going to go back through them a second time, just to make sure, since this is the end of my bead, that this is all good and tight here. Okay, and so this is what you should have now. You just made this perfect little square top where my fire polish will sit right there on the top and will not be able to slide through into the middle of my bead component. Now, we did not, we have to work or thread down back to the beginning so that we can do this last step on the end, on this other end here. So that's what I'm going to proceed to do. I'm going to just follow my thread path, just my beads, down through here until I get back to the beginning of our piece here. And you want to be coming out of a bicone in between your check fire polish there. Just how we started. And the only difference is we are going to be working this way, whereas before we were working that way, but it's the exact same step. So we're adding on our 2 delicas, a bicone, 2 delicas, and to form our netting all the way around. At the end of the video, I will show y'all and share with y'all some of the ideas that I have for my next tutorials for y'all. And I also should have some more packages coming. I know I have in a package coming from Art Beads, and I have a package coming from the Dollar Bead Box, and then I have one that should be in the mail any day that are gemstone beads that I bought from Fusion Beads. Okay, so I'm right here at the end. I'm coming out the top of this bicone, and same thing as the other end. I'm going to go around and add a delica in between each of these bicones instead of a fire polish bead. And that's going to give us that nice little shape and cinched in to be able to add on our eye head pin with the fire polish bead on the end. Okay, so once I've done that, I'm going to kind of squish it in and tighten it up. And I'm going to go all the way back around it again to make sure I've got it nice and tight. That tail's driving me crazy. He keeps getting in my way. That's okay, I'm fixing to get rid of him. We're going to work our tail back in just a minute. Okay, so once you've went around this a second time and you feel confident, go ahead and